Hello and welcome to today's videos. We're covering patch 15.4 or 25S1, 4, whatever the hell Riot is calling it, and how it's going to affect Lol Esports in the world's qualifying regions. So, couple things in terms of just explaining this type of video to those that might be new. Um, in League, in my opinion, unlike traditional sports, the rules change every 2 weeks. They're constantly tinkering with champion power, item power, etc. Even things deeper into the game. Atacon percentages change in this patch and things like that. Now, the way I look at it, very simple: buff or nerf, depending on what Riot says the champion changes are. Whether if it's an adjustment, we get into the weeds about if it's a buff or a nerf and kind of listen to what people think and go from there. But otherwise, it's just what Riot thinks is a buff and what is a nerf, and all are created equally. I don't, look at the stats and say that's placebo or whatever. Now, as far as this is concerned, the 15.3 video, someone commented and said this patch won't affect Rogue. Rogue are done for this season. Well, done for I guess split one, season one, whatever. That's not really, sound, right? So when a patch occurs, most of those changes, stay. Now, things do change. We've seen some even reverts from 15.3 on 15.4. Like, hey, that nerf was too much, or oh, that buff was too much. And those things do get kind of washed out. But most of the patch stays. So as far as I'm concerned, that patch or this patch will affect a team like, hey, we have Dignitas, -1, for example. Dignitas are not eligible to play in first stand. They're done for the season, right? Split one. But most of these changes will probably stay when they end up playing, a month from now or whatever. So it matters, in my opinion. So what's a buff to a team? Well, if a player has played a champion in 4.5% of games the last 2.5 seasons, so that's one every 20 games or so, obviously metas will affect that. Nerfs, if a champion's been played by a team at least 10% of the time in the current season. So, a few LPL teams top the charts at a +4. Anyone's Legend, Flandre and Shanks both have played a healthy amount of Jace in the last 2.5 seasons, so they are buffed for sure. We see an Ashe buff, which helps Hope, and a Nautilus buff that helps Kale. Weibo, Scion buff for Breathe. Jace, buffed for Xiaohu. Ashe for Light, and Nautilus for Hung. JDG, I don't know why. Oh, yeah, nice way. So Jace buff for Scout. Ale is not a big Jace guy. Ashe buffed not only for Pays, but also Missing. Both of them played Ashe enough to actually be considered a buff. Nautilus buffed for Missing as well. In the LCK, D+, Jace double buff. So if a player is, I only count tier 1 games. So Siwoo, technically, for this video, only has the games he's played this season. But he's played a Jace already enough to appear on this list. And Showmaker has played a lot of Jace in his last couple of years. Scion buffed for Siwoo as well. Nautilus for Barrel. Giant X of the LEC, Jace buffed. Lot played Jace. He also played Scion. Ashe buffed for June and Nautilus as well. Vivo keyed Stars of Brazil in LTA South. Bull is a Scion player. Jace is a champion that Kisei played. Ashe buffed for Mortius and Nautilus buffed for Trimby. Sad face, right? So who are, looking at this patch and are like, oh, well, our champion pools are getting a little constricted. Dignitas, although Isles has played quite a bit of Nautilus, and pretty much everybody has except literally 2 players that I have here, and we'll talk about it. But Elise nerfed and Callista nerfed. Tomo played Callista, and Isles played Elise, and therefore -1. G2, Ashe is buffed. Hansama's an Ashe enjoyer. Nautilus, played by Lebrav. However, Warwick, picked by Broken Blade twice. Warwick's been nerfed. They scaled that back. So, that's a unique nerfed to G2 because he played Warwick multiple times. Callista, nerfed. Lulu, nerfed. Top Esports, Scion is buffed for 369, Nautilus buffed for Crisp. However, Wei is nerfed for Cream. Callista nerfed for Jackie Love, and Lulu nerfed for Crisp. Ultra Prime, only two, -2, right? So Jiang of top lane, not a big player of Jace or Scion. Mid jungle are both rookies. Support is essentially a rookie. However, Rosie Love did play Elise already this season. And Wako played Callista, and Wako's not a big Ashe player. So he didn't end up getting buffed. Then some unique things, right? Some players play champions more than others. Gangplank was buffed, and you may say, well, Impact plays Gangplank. Yeah, he's played like 7 times in the last 300 games. And you'll say, yeah, but that's more than most. Yeah, it's more than everybody pretty much but Driver. Driver technically has played at least 4.5% of his games the last 2.5 years, well, 2 1/3 of a year, on Gangplank. For CFO, if he plays on 15-4, there's a chance that he will, make an impact on the champion. Yasuo, Carlson's buffed by it, and that was, I say it in kind of jest. Is Yasuo and Carlson like a match made in heaven? No, probably not. But he played Yasuo this split, and nobody has played it at least 4.5% of their games. BB's played it 7 times, but that's not 4.5% of the last 2 1/3 years. Carlson is. It's just a funny little thing. Diana nerfed Isma of SK and Levi of GAM. Both played Diana. So, I think 4 teams technically did, but those 2, when you look at the percentages, did play in 10% of their games. Wei is nerfed, so Cream of Top Esports, Kadi of Viking Esports, Bulldog of DN Freaks, Palafox of Shopify Rebellion, Arya of Detonation Focus Me, Loki of Cloud9, Quad of FlyQuest, and Chovy of Gen G all played Wei already this season, enough to appear on this list as a nerf. Wei has been nerfed, as well as Mel. So Mel, Grevthar of Red, nerfed for him. I believe he might even not be starting for Red in Split 2. Quad, nerfed. He played Mel for FlyQuest. Fofo of PSG and HongQ of CFO both also played Mel. Twitch is nerfed. Fodic played Twitch enough to appear on this list this past split. Ashe support, a buff. So, June, Mako, Zhuo, Missing, Loopy, and Execute all played Ashe support enough to be buffed by this change. Technically, I think it's an 80 carry buff, but hey, maybe people play it at support. No Nautilus. So Nautilus is buffed for pretty much everybody except the rookies, for the most part. And then Kellen and Luan. Neither one played enough Nautilus. And Kellen is the bigger one. The one that really shocked me, and I had to double check. He has not played 4.5% of his games the last 2.5 years in Tier 1 on Nautilus. Everybody else has. Lulu nerfed. Lebrav, YCX, Zhuo, Crisp, Carria, and Duro all played Lulu this past split, and it's nerfed. Everyone else is not nerfed by the Lulu nerf because they haven't played Lulu enough or at all. So, just something interesting. I know I had to go to the more, disorganized look of the board because there are so many champions that were buffed and nerfed on this patch that I couldn't really do it the way I did it the first time. I'm still trying to figure out how I may want to do this type of video in the future to make it a bit cleaner. That's still on the board. I understand the last one was in a video form of on the computer. But either way, yeah. AL getting buffed, Weibo and JDG, D+, all those teams are really freaking good. So, surprise, surprise there. Those teams get better on 15-4. And a team like G2 or Top Esports, you do have to wonder how much is this going to affect them. G2 not that much, I'm sure. They play a lot of different crap on their team compositions, which makes me really always support G2 as the best Western team at international events. Now, last international event, FlyQuest showed a similar sort of vibe with the new, etc. So we do have to respect that. FlyQuest are willing to also get creative. The creative teams out of the Western regions are the ones that, in my opinion, have any chance in hell at stealing a game or a series. I don't think you can win straight up. So G2 getting nerfed, I mean, I'm sure they'll find something else. And Top Esports, I mean, their hands are good enough that it really, I mean, yes, this is going to affect them when you look at maybe comparing them to other teams that are at their level in Anyone's Legend, Weibo, and JDG. But also, I mean, is this a tiebreaker? Probably not, but it is something to think about. So, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.